The only way to slow it down is isolate, not roam. Please help the world get back on track and stay the fuck at home. Stay the fuck at home. Stay the fuck at home. Don't you be a fucking dick. Please stay the fuck at home.
Anyways,
stay the fuck at home.
What's going on, Killer? I miss you, man. I feel like I haven't seen your face in forever.
There it is.
How's quarantine life, man?
Quarantine life is good. I've been doing this for about a year and change now, so it's nothing new to me. But I should ask you, how's quarantine life for you,
Everyone's been on my case. But listen, I want my listeners to understand that concept. So you've been quarantined since last year, because for those people who don't know, Killer,
not medically, you know, let's just make that clear.
Not medically, not like, I mean, more in terms of he's been locked in his studio for the last, how long has it been? You're always working, bro.
It's been I'd say about a year now.
I respect your hustle. I respect your grind. That's literally you. So that's the joke here, is that for Killer, clearly there's no change. Let me ask you, what's the biggest change right now, COVID related, that has impacted your life?
I think more so is just not seeing my family, you know,
okay.
Going back to my parents, my brother, just because, you know, they're saying that you may not show any symptoms, but you could pass it on very, very easily.
Right.
Somebody else. Just for that reason, I don't want to, you know, I haven't lived at home for many years as well. So going back and even just seeing my parents, I kind of miss that sometimes, right?
Yeah. So, honestly, man, it's getting more and more scary as the day goes by, because like, I think today we're looking, the US figures, bro, is over 300,000 cases right now.
To be honest, between you and I, bro, like, I try not to watch the news every day, because, man, it'll just drain you, bro. It'll just take everything out of you. You keep that shit on all day, bro. It will literally put a toll on your brain and your mental ability to even just think positive and just try and get to where you want to get, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think even pre-COVID, news has always been, a lot of the times the news you read is, accident here, murder here, double shooting here, double homicide there. It's always negative news. And that just shows negativity. Does it sell? I don't know. But I hope this little mini series that I'm doing called Stay the Fuck Home, obviously a blunt reminder for everyone to literally stay the fuck home, because this coronavirus pandemic, it's no joke. And I think, Killer, were you mentioning like there's still people in your area, on Park Lawn area, that are going out and about?
Yeah, it's funny that I mentioned that to you today, and then Six Buzz posted something saying that it looks like people living by Lakeshore didn't get the memo, and it's right down the street, right?
Sorry, who posted this?
Six Buzz posted.
Oh,
something.
Six Buzz, yeah.
It's like people in Lakeshore didn't get the memo, but there's crowds of individuals.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I told you I was in downtown Toronto yesterday, and I stayed the night. It was, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was pretty quiet on my end. I walked around a little bit and just to get some fresh air, and like, I didn't see that many. It was a ghost town for the most part.
I think because I live right by the lake, a lot of people like to come by to the lake, or just even go for walks by the lake.
Right.
It's a fresh. It'll get them fresh up or whatever. But
right. Let me add. So you already answered the question that for you, you're still working in the studio, you're hustling. How do you keep yourself motivated, man? Like, how do you? And what's your like? I guess I know you keep yourself motivated, and I gotta commend you for that. As an artist that's trying to make it in a city that's so competitive as well. What's your advice to people out there right now, man, that are kind of losing? We're heading into week 4 right now.
Yeah,
a lot of people might be getting deflated a little bit when it comes to, that willpower, that energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right here.
Oh, okay, Miss Mary Jane.
I'm just kidding.
That's your answer to everything in life.
Bro, it's been my answer, and it's kind of worked so far. It's been good. But no, on the really, it's like, this is like a tough time. If you look back in history, things like this come, and then things like this go.
Yeah.
I think that personally we'll be able to overcome this. And what people need to learn is that you have all the free time in the world now to really, especially those individuals that unfortunately got laid off or whatnot. It's time for you to kind of like, if you ever wanted to do something or pursue something and you said, hey, you know, I just don't have time for it, or
right,
you know, I just can't commit to it, now is your time that you have nothing other than commitment. I mean, nothing, you have nothing else to do other than commit.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I'm trying to say.
So
Because
you're saying that, you know, a lot of people have an excuse pre-COVID when life was normal, that I'm working or I have kids. But now you still have those, you're still working. A lot of people are still working from home. A lot of people are still, you know, they're still with their families. But you're right. Like if you don't pursue your goal now, it's going to be a lot tougher for you to pursue it anytime after this, I think.
and it's not even per se goals, because a lot of individuals have certain goals and they're already reaching
Right.
they need to get to. But it's any sort of personal development things that you felt like you may have wanted to do, and it could be as simple as just being comfortable in your own skin. A lot of individuals aren't comfortable in their own skin. You got to be cool with who you are. You know, you got to be able to look in the mirror and say, hey man, like I like you as a person.
Yeah.
You know,
Now I'm going to be the devil's advocate here. Do you think, and there's also people out there that are sick and tired of this whole stay positive or do something mentality? Because everyone's now saying, you know, do something, learn a new skill. You think that it's also that there are people out there that could give two shits, and that's I guess is more so if you're content with that version of yourself, you do you, man, right?
yeah, to each his own, right? Like I mean, you can't knock anybody for the way they want to live their life, right?
Exactly.
On the planet, you got to do what you want to do and try
exactly
be the
and
best person that you can be, right?
absolutely, and essentially that's what I'm trying to do with this Killer. So Killer, I keep calling you Killer, and I know people are going to ask me questions, why do you keep calling him Killer? Killer is not only his rap name, it's actually his literal last name, spelled Kiler. I've known him since university, man. Like first year university, went to summer school together, kept in touch. And I'm focusing my attention with this podcast series. It's just a small special series to reach out to my friends and kind of, I guess, convey your message to everybody in Toronto during these times, right? It's confusing, bro. Like think about it. Like we talked about this yesterday. Like there's all these conspiracy theories that people are throwing out left, right, and center. You and a couple people this weekend sent me the whole 5G stuff that's happening.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, you know, it's a conspiracy theory. It's
entertaining.
It's entertaining, but you got to entertain everything. How can it not be entertaining to say that one guy ate a bat or drank bat soup or something related to a bat, and now the entire world is fucking under lockdown? Like, I think that's entertaining more so than the 5G conspiracy that actually has some sort of scientific, you know, things. And I only really understand a lot of that now because, you know, now that I'm doing audio engineering and I'm understanding certain things that go on behind the scenes, like, you know, with frequencies and whatnot, you kind of start picking up certain things and understanding, hey, what are they teach you with this, right?
Yeah. So essentially for the listeners that are tuning in, the 5G theory, and by the way, I'm giving a disclaimer, this is just pure entertainment right now, just to guys keep you updated with what's going on.
This is a straight conspiracy theory.
I don't believe in conspiracy theories, but I sure am open to being entertained. So I think the premise is that the 5G towers, the 5G frequencies are causing a radiation. Is that right?
It's I guess a radiation or something. It's emitting
that's fucking with,
which is kind of messing with our internal organs.
I think, and so definitely look into it. I think the other message here is, you know, there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Look, you'll only know what they want to tell you, and by if you really think outside the box, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And if you're really kind of in the box, then just forget
right.
Talking about this, right? So,
well, I think, Killer, what I'm more so alluding to is that misinformation, that we have access to so much information that we now have access to too much information.
Yeah, you don't know what's real and what's fake.
Right. And too much information, just what you said right now. And when we started this recording, you're like, I try to avoid the news nowadays.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times, bro, like it's stress, man. You know how stressful it is when you look at some statistics and you're like, fuck, numbers are tripling. You know, when I recorded my last episode recording in the studio, I had 137,000 cases worldwide. That was a stat that I quoted.
You should update that every time at the beginning of your podcast.
I should, but it's like, and today I was looking at it. You know what it is right now worldwide? It's like 1.3 million. It went tenfold in a matter of weeks, right? And I think it's crazy, man. I think that, you know, at the end of the day, like, everyone has a responsibility, bro. Like you said, you don't want to see your parents. It's not that you don't want to. It's like, you know, you can't at the end of the day.
I think that what it really comes down to is just respecting the human race and respecting what we're being told to do to kind of protect everybody.
Yeah.
Citizens, and I think we should respect that.
Absolutely.
And, you know, take this time to really kind of reflect and kind of figure out, hey, a lot of people, if you're not happy, I think that you should kind of figure out what you want to do to kind of reach that state.
Right,
you know?
right.
And I feel like this is really a good chance for almost like a fresh start for a lot of people, bro.
Right. I mean, it could be a continuation of your story, or it's a great time for you to be like, all right, my pre-COVID book is closed. This is this intermission period going on right now. I need to figure out what the script is for the next part of my life.
And it's still your story, but it's just how you.
Still your story, exactly. And I think that, and that's, I mean, the dynamics are changing, man, everywhere. I think it's crazy, like, to think about, like, I already mentioned it when I was talking to Pearly, but to the idea that a lot of the times, man, we're pursuing, like, we're pursuing tangible things like assets, like money, fame, you know. At the end of the day, none of that's gonna matter if everything's in lockdown. I can't pull up on King Street in my friggin' Tesla Sports S model to stunt it if I'm not even allowed to go to a club to begin with, right?
Hey, talk about grocery stores being the new club right now. You ever standing in line for? I didn't even like standing in line for a club, let alone now you telling me to stand in line at a grocery store.
Yo, I was thinking about that. I'm like, listen, okay, that's a good point. It's like, now you're to stand in line to get into No Frills, and there's a bouncer / security guard that's there.
Bro, I gotta like get up and get ready and go early to the grocery store. You know, like, it's like come before 11, no cover or whatever.
You gotta have the dress code too, man. The gloves, the mask.
Gloves,
Otherwise,
mask, hat.
it's
up to the, you know.
Yeah, and you got to keep, and there's etiquette now. You got to maintain your distance, right? I think social distancing. It's crazy, man. It's like, you know, it's going to change the dynamics and the way so many industries work. For some of them, it's going to bankrupt and obliterate certain types of businesses, and for others, they're going to have to change their entire business model to adapt. Right, restaurants, for example, right, clubs, for example.
For now.
Right, clubs are going to be able to make sure that how can we make sure our environment is I don't know, disease-free, virus-free.
Bro, can you imagine clubs turn into a place where everybody stays 1 to 2 meters away from each other and just vibes in their own zone?
Yeah. Can you? It's like going to a silent disco. Have you been to a silent disco? You know what a silent disco is? Have you heard of it? Or
silent disco?
Silent disco, yeah.
No, that sounds pretty interesting.
So you go to this party, everyone's given a pair of headphones.
Okay.
You put the headphones on your ears, and there's 3 different frequencies. You can listen to hip hop, you can listen to top 40, or you can listen to what am I missing? What are the big genres? House music, let's say. And you're listening to music in your headphones, and other people are listening to the exact same tracks, but depending on the genre, you get to meet people, and you're like, and the music is literally in your ears. So if you take it off, you can have a conversation with that person. It's kind of cool. They do quite a few of them in Toronto. But yeah, man, I think that
I don't think that's happening for a while, face to face. Maybe if you want to create something like that virtually, we could figure it out.
Well, and that's the thing. I think even dude, like going back to what you were saying, the whole club situation, like, yeah, it's gonna change the way we approach people. It's gonna change the way we buy things.
Have you ever seen the movie Demolition Man?
A long time ago. A very long time ago. Yeah.
Rewatch it, revisit it, watch it.
Okay.
That movie was like one of my favorite movies as like when I was a kid.
Yeah. I remember there was a scene where the guy was it Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah.
He was watching porn, or like he was having sex, but it was like virtual porn. And he was like,
Oh,
"That's
yeah, that part when he was with I think Sandra Bullock's in that movie or something.
yeah." And then listen, that's a reality that kind of exists right now too, if you think
Well, think
about it,
about it,
right?
right? Because that's what I'm talking about, right? Like
Yeah.
you have to keep your distance. There's no like kissing, hugging, interaction. Like that's
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? You know?
Well, the thing is, and that's the thing, like, okay, so you know the 1918 Spanish flu, right? There was one bigger than that called the Great Plague, right? It was called the Black Death. It wiped off about a third of Europe's population, right?
Yeah. What do you?
And after that, after that wave of pandemics that occurred, because it didn't just occur in 1347, it occurred at like 20 different occasions between the 1300s and the 1400s. It came in waves. It would like leave for 2 years and then it would come back, right?
Mhm.
And after that, dude, it changed the way, like, the labor laws. It changed the way the classes worked. There was such a change in the way society and the economies function. I think this is that big black swan event that's going to change the way the world, the way the world runs its gears, bro. Right?
Yeah, I think so. I think things are gonna definitely change. I think that we're not gonna be living the same way that we were living, and things kind of changed within a blink of an eye. If you really think about it,
Yeah, yeah.
like one day this was happening, and the next day kind of society shifted like this. Next time you kind of wake up, something else is happening.
Right, right.
We're
Think
we're
about it. Think about from an artist perspective. Think about like Tory Lanez right now, like the
Mhm.
whole quarantine, the radio.
By
Like,
the way, that's probably one of the best things that guy's ever created. He's such a creative guy, but that is his quarantine show is hilarious.
and that's the thing. You got to remember, what's the ACC? The ACC, ACC packs about 25,000 people in there.
Yeah.
This guy was hitting 300,000 people live with when Drake was there, I think, as well,
Yeah.
live on Instagram. So think of it like this: as a performer, you're putting out your performance, right? Whether it's whatever it is, you're putting out content, and there's about 300,000 that are looking at you glued to their phones. That's the level of influence you have on people as a celebrity
That-
of that
That's
stature,
a
right?
great content.
Yeah, it's a big thing. And then the other thing is, like, they're improvising. It's going to change the way we go to events, to change the way we go to concerts,
Yeah.
right? I think
Yeah.
the big thing with music is, like, now you see how you can push your content to a wider audience very quick, just like that.
Yeah.
Right?
100%. You have the ability now, right? Now that like streaming platforms and stuff are here, but
Are
there's
you are you? I know you've been making music and stuff, but are there other skills that you've been kind of keeping yourself occupied with? Like, have you tried
uh,
anything else, like as a hobby or anything new?
well, really, like I don't really like to boost a lot, but like I just for the last few years, like I've just kind of sat on YouTube and taught myself any and everything that I needed to learn.
Yeah,
Uh, I know a lot of the Adobe Creative Suite, so sometimes I play around with that. Like I
okay.
make all my like cover arts, snippets,
Yeah, yeah.
animation stuff. So like
Right.
I brush up on those things. I'm always doing like resource hunting and stuff like that. Like I'm really like creative with it, right? So I try to do as much as I can and learn as much as I can.
What do you,
But
when it comes to creativity, what do you think, for other people, and it could be you as well, what are the biggest challenges you think people come across when it comes to, you know, thinking
doubt,
outside of the box? Because it doesn't always come naturally, right? I know you indicated Mary J.
it's just doubt.
Yeah, doubt and
Doubt.
fear.
I don't think really fear. It's more so doubt. Like people, it's not like you're scared of something. You're more so just doubting yourself that hey, is this even good? Hey, should I even like tell people this? Should I even like think you're not scared of getting shut down.
Right,
I think it's more so just like people doubt themselves so much that they don't even reach fear
right,
because
right.
it didn't even reach to the point where are you scared now? It's just
I, I, I think I was more so, what I was thinking about was like, yeah, you doubt yourself, but the fear of failing, that's why you doubt yourself, because that fear of failing is a big, heavy burden for a lot of people. And it goes with a lot of things, right? The fear of going into an interview and not getting the job, you know, that when you're on that like fence and you don't know if you got it or you don't got it, but you have that feeling in the pit of your stomach, that can be translated to so many different things, right? Like being an artist, up and coming rapper, right? Like putting out tracks.
Nobody wins on their first chance.
Sorry?
Nobody wins on their first try, you know?
Yeah, no one won on their first try, right?
And you're not gonna win, and you're gonna take the L. And you gotta learn. I think the biggest thing in life is you gotta learn that in life you're gonna continuously keep taking L's, and your L's may get bigger and bigger and bigger. But the more you level up, the bigger your L is gonna be. But you just gotta accept that, and you gotta figure out how to move around that, take that obstacle, jump over, and kind of figure out the next move. That's it.
Right.
Life is a game of chess, and this chess game happens to be very long, you know?
Yeah. It's a lifelong chess game, bro. Yeah. Right. And it's not, and I think one thing I thought about, man, and this is such a good, you know, if you think about it, we're in social isolation right now. We're practicing social distancing. We're separating ourselves from our external environments that have distracted us a lot of times, right? Could be our social friends, could be our Friday night crew, could be, you know, bars, clubs, restaurants, whatever. Now in complete isolation, you're going to realize that the only person's opinion that matters is yours. You need to build that level of confidence where you can pursue things in your life because you want to, without having to worry about, well, you know, will I make it? You know, there's already 1,000 rappers in Toronto. Am I going to make it? You know what I mean? You need to have that level of, I'm not going to say cockiness, but also a little bit like, yeah, you know, a little bit of cockiness actually, that I'm that confident in myself that I know if I pursue something, I'd rather fail than not having to than not having to not try from the get-go, right?
Yeah. Well, when you keep trying for something, you may not end up where you want it to be. You may end up somewhere completely different, but it may not be completely different. It may be along the same path, but wherever you end up, it's just going to work out in a better scenario for you.
Right.
You can't give up on what you want to really do.
Absolutely.
Like, I didn't know how to produce music and engineer and everything. I was just kind of like, shit, I got to like really figure it out. If I really want to do this, I got to really figure it out.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I feel like sometimes, you know, my production's getting even better than, you know, certain other aspects of my skill sets, you know? So it's just like, you got to keep touching up, brushing up, watching videos, getting better, learning more, putting the work in. It's just about the number of hours you put in and that you're trying to deliver.
Well, that's the thing. Like you literally can learn anything you want as long as you have access to the internet. Think about that. You want to learn a new language? Well, download Duolingo, right? You want to learn how to code. Everything, literally education right now is so readily available that going to school is literally just you're just going to get the diploma and the paper for a job.
Or you can go figure out all the skills you need to do. Go pick up a few small side gigs that you've done. Now you're an official freelancer, and then you go and try and figure out a way to get yourself into the big doors.
Right.
You know, that's
it.
Right? Sorry, that's what I meant. Right.
Sorry, no, you're right. Like, did you? Sorry, I just remembered this right now. A pop-up game. Yo, Drake, man. I've been practicing my Tootsie slide the whole weekend.
That was holy fuck, bro.
I feel like anything this man touches turns into like gold. Like this guy is on a win streak.
Yeah, but yo, he and 40 have this like amazing combo, you know?
Okay.
It's like the ultimate combo. 40 what 40 engineers and does his voice, like Drake says all the time, right? It's
yeah.
But yeah, in a sense, the song and everything is a great song as well, the beat and everything too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's good timing. I mean, obviously it was a PSA, public service announcement as well, that he's in quarantine. He's been doing his part. I mean, I wouldn't mind living in his mansion, but at the end of the day, though,
you don't need to leave that mansion. If
you don't need to.
It's like the best thing for Drake because he probably never got to enjoy his house.
Yeah.
He actually gets to enjoy. Did you see that fucking pool in the underground? And
I did. But listen, do you think you would even enjoy that big of a property by yourself? You would need at least at least I would. I'd rather get more. Then again, ask me that question if I ever get that much money in my life, right? That I can.
Ballgame, bro. It's a whole different ballgame.
No, for sure. Absolutely. We don't know yet. We don't know how it is to walk into a store and be able to buy anything you want without having to even think about, oh, how much is that? That's how celebrities live their lives. You literally can pick up any item you want, and that's it. You just give your card and done deal, right? It could be 100K, it could be 5K. You don't know, right? And I think that's, but at the same time though, like, you know, I mean, their quarantine is a lot different than our quarantine for sure.
Well, it depends, right? Like, yeah, so certain individuals have like bigger homes or nicer things in their homes that they can do and whatnot, you know, like more activities, let's just say.
Yeah.
You know, certain people will have like a basketball court, but even maybe some of your audience, you don't know who's tuning in. Maybe some people are sitting there listening. It's only you and I sitting about
right now. It's just me and you. I don't even know if anyone's listening to us, but
huh?
I don't even know if anyone's going to listen to this or listening
to us
or
right
maybe now.
Nobody listens, but maybe if that one person listens, then they do have like a basketball court in the back.
Yeah. No, but I think the reason I started Stay the Fuck Home and I'm continuing to do this over the next few months is because I can't relate to a celebrity that's in quarantine, but I can relate to someone in Toronto in the same city as me that's the same age.
So what have you been doing? Forget all the whole world and what they've been doing. What have you been doing during this quarantine time? Let's hear what Sonny's been up to.
So I'll be really honest with you. I've been pretty busy, man. I've been working. I'm still working, right? 9 to 5.
All right.
So I still got responsibilities.
How is it working from home now?
Sorry?
How is it working from home? What's different? What's changing, Sonny?
Well, here's the thing. The difference is it takes me about 12 seconds to get to work, right? I literally 12 seconds, literally. Boom, put my PJs on. I'm brushing, log onto my computer, make sure that my pop-up shows up that I'm online, finish brushing my teeth, put on some coffee, and then go sit at my desk, which is actually my dining table in my parents' house. But I mean, we have a pretty good business continuity plan, to be honest with you, man. Like, yo, we're like keeping the lights on. Things are good, right? We're still able to get all of our deliverables done and whatnot. I think the biggest change for me is just coming back to my parents, though. I think that's a change.
You decided to come back to your parents?
I think there's a couple of things. I think the other thing is I didn't think this would drag on for so long. I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's a month away. So I'll go back to my parents, spend the month with them because they're all at home as well, right? But now if this is going to go on for a couple of months, I'm going to head back to Toronto again. And then I told them once I'm there, I'm not coming back. I ended up going to Toronto last night, stayed the night. I unfortunately had to come back. I had a couple things to do today, but that's that, man. I think that's other than that, I've been keeping busy with this podcast. I've been doing a couple other stuff with my New Wave account. Been walking around the city, combining music with video footage. I obviously, mortgages is a side hustle of mine. The whole mortgage business, and there'll be a different podcast that I'm doing with someone else who's a mortgage broker to talk about the real estate game and how that's been impacted. But that's that, man. And that's pretty much it, bro. I've been, that's it. I've been learning the keyboard. I've been, the piano.
We'll get you to come in and play some keys or send me some keys.
I'm still in the learning phase, bro. It doesn't sound the greatest. But the first track that I'm learning is, so it's still Dre, and then there's a track called No One Knows Me Like the Piano by Safa. I'm gonna learn that. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna learn that by the end of this quarantine.
You want to know a fun fact, yo? So when I play the keyboard, if I actually look at the keyboard, for some reason, I'll actually mess up. But if I don't look at the keyboard and I just place my hands on the keys, I just kind of play them. So that's a fun fact that.
Why do you think that is? You think that's
I think it's my anxiety that kicks in.
Yeah.
100%.
100%. Speaking of anxiety, bro, you think about the amount of people that are not used to living inside. Like, you're someone that's like, you said you've been working for the last year or two, right? Yeah. So this is no change for you to stay inside and do work in the studio, right? But for a lot of people, they rely on de-stressing by going to the gym, by going outside and socializing, right? That level of anxiety is exactly why I think Doug Ford introduced that $12 million provincial package for everyone to access mental health services online, right?
I think it's a good thing that he did that. I think it's a great thing that...
Ford's been killing it, right? What's your opinion on Doug?
I don't get into politics.
No, I try to stay politics free as well. But listen, that he's done a pretty commendable job, I think, so far um, during this crisis. I wasn't a big fan of him before. I'm
Yeah.
still not a big fan of some of his views, but the way he's handling it has been pretty good. Um,
Let's see how it works. Let's see how he does, right?
what's the first thing you're gonna do once this lockdown is done? How are you gonna celebrate, Killer?
Honestly, I have an agenda. My mind, I'm already still living through my agenda. Nothing really has changed.
Yeah.
So I have a plan that I'm gonna go travel somewhere and be somewhere about the end of this year, and that's where I kind of want to go and have my heart set on. So I think, if things pass, maybe I'll be there, and maybe not. If not, then hey, like if plans need to change, I'm okay with changing it.
Yeah.
You gotta be okay with change.
Well, I think the whole travel piece needs to change.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, that's you might need to, change that a little bit.
Well, if you think about it, and if you look at it this way, right? You just gotta kind of monitor what happened in Wuhan, right?
Yeah.
Wuhan, China. Whatever happens there, it's gonna kind of translate to the rest of the world. That's how long it's gonna take for it to kind of pass. That's how long it'll take to recover. I think unless they find some sort of cure, and then they can kind of expedite this process.
Right, right. I kind of disagree with that a little bit because that's given that China is totally transparent with their data. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Because there's that piece of countries not being transparent because they don't want to be looked at as like because now apparently I was reading this article in the New York Times, bro, this whole idea of superpowers, like
What?
China, the superpower countries like China, US, they're not gonna exist after this pandemic in the sense that this pandemic is gonna put so much economic and financial restrictions and constraint and weight on these countries, and also this idea of supply chain management, because before countries like trading with each other, right? But now everyone's going to be like, they want to become more self-sufficient. I think it's going to be the opposite of globalization, anti-globalization.
Yeah, maybe.
Right, especially with the shit like Trump has been saying, like not
over certain things, certain products.
Yeah, like not sending that. Priority should be even when there is a vaccine found. You got to remember, whatever country finds that vaccine, they're gonna give priority to the people in their country, right? But then there's layers to it. Do you give a vaccine? Let's say it's Germany. Do you give the vaccine to every German, or do you give the vaccine first to everyone under the age of 50, then give it to your neighbors that are under 50? You know what I mean? Like, how do you prioritize, right? And that level of bureaucracy, we're never going to understand as, day-to-day citizens. But
Yeah.
there's so many sitcoms and behind the scenes happening that we have no idea what's happening in the world right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
That again comes down to conspiracy theories, right?
Yeah, I mean, conspiracy theories.
What they tell you, or
sorry?
It's like, do you want to believe what they tell you, or do you want to really like dig into it and kind of make decisions for your own self, right?
Yeah. Let me ask you something, and something to think about as well. Pre-COVID, you had this game plan, and I know you're very strategic when it comes to your game plan in terms of, managing your music and releasing your music. Has anything shifted in terms of your thinking of your future, in terms of how you're going to approach music, or is it still as if nothing happened and I'm just sticking with my game plan?
Well, no, now
I'm trying to see how are you adapting to the situation right now.
Yeah, no, I definitely have some things that I'm thinking about and kind of working on, and
right.
You have to take a step back. Anytime something big happens in any industry, for anything, you gotta take a step back and kind of look at it and understand why it's happening, what's going on, and where it could go, right? You have to see the options.
Yeah.
Like we said, life is chess, so you gotta really like look at all the pieces and see, hey, what's really happening.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do to kind of make it better? I don't have the answers for it, right?
Yeah.
If I wouldn't be sitting here right now, that's for sure. I'd probably be quarantined somewhere else, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, you gotta adjust. Like, for example, Drake. I know I talked about the Tootsie Roll, but Tootsie Slide. Sorry, Tootsie Slide, not Tootsie Slide. Tootsie Slide. Yo, listen, that guy, two birds with one stone. He's like, I'm gonna make a banger, right? Which he did. Um, and then also make it give more ammo for TikTok users,
But
right?
it's not even just ammo. Do you know that the that slide, the 2C is a person apparently or something?
I have
Or
no idea. Is that what it is?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's the slide or whatever. I don't know. Look into it.
Okay. But that, I mean, so I was like, okay, it was a pretty catchy song, and I'm like, smart guy, like he's trying to
But it
take
is,
it
yeah. This is
take
something.
advantage of the situation right now, right? Um, and
Are you
capitalize
on
on it.
TikTok?
Sorry?
Are you on TikTok?
Um, I downloaded the app. Ended up deleting it though. I downloaded the app and then I was like, it's just another social media app. I'm already so like busy as it is. I don't know if I'm willing to add TikTok to the social media platter, as you may say, yet, quite yet at least.
Yeah.
Um,
Damn. Think about that, eh? The social. So, anytime something big happens where the world takes a little shift, there's always been good or great companies that kind of come out like Uber, Amazon, all these ones kind of came out of the
right,
last, right? So
right.
what do you think is gonna happen this time, right? Like look at even like all these like we're talking about social platforms. Like what do you think is gonna
Well, the big theme, okay, that's a really good point. Whenever there's a big disruption in society and disruption in the world, there's a sea of new companies born from it. You know,
yeah
like you mentioned, the 2008 the financial crisis gave birth to all of these Silicon Valley companies, Ubers, right, where you have control of a company that doesn't even control its inventory of cars, right?
yeah
Airbnbs, they don't have control, they don't own their units, right? There's other people that own their units. They're just taking care of, the whole idea of people renting it for a short term period, right?
yeah
Um, the problem is now is that this crisis has made everyone. The theme is social distancing, and theme is good hygiene. So for a company like Airbnb, it's going to be very hard for them to stay in business, I think, because no one's going to want a random stranger staying at their unit for a weekend now and not knowing their travel history, not knowing their medical history. And I think those are the things that are going to be factored into day-to-day business now, right? For example, if you're traveling, before you needed a passport, criminal background check, and all that other stuff. But now I guarantee you that uh, every
you have
country's
a
border
health
services are
record?
going to be checking your temperature. They're going to be asking for your medical history, all that stuff, right?
I don't think so. I
But
don't think we get to that.
you never know. Like, I mean,
I think I honestly, man, is as weird as this sounds.
right?
I think like as far as like as quick as this thing comes, it's gonna like just few months or maybe I don't know how long, but like as soon as those months pass, it's gonna be like nothing changed.
Yeah, yeah.
Other than of course the economy where we need to start getting it going again. I don't think like anything else would be.
And that's why people suck, though, because you're right. Like, like I'm thinking about like 9/11. Whenever something very big happens,
There's
first
certain
week, everyone's mourning. Everyone's like, oh man, this is. But then you know what? After when enough time goes by, people
then
totally forget about it and life turns back to normal, right?
and
I
it
do
becomes a
think,
part of the history book, right?
yeah, and that's it. It just becomes a page in the history book. I do think that Corona is a different behemoth of its own, I think. I think the coronavirus, think about it. If the ability to shut down sports completely alone is a crazy thing to say. If I told you, Killer, they're going to shut down the NFL, NHL, NBA, soccer, everything, you'd be like, are you crazy? Oh, on
Yeah.
top of that, you're not allowed to go to work anymore. You're
Yeah.
you're only allowed to go to the grocery store in groups of. They only allow like one person every 5 minutes, right? Um, you can't travel. You're not allowed to leave the country. You're not allowed to come into.
Is that the rule for grocery stores? Only one person in the store?
Sorry, what I meant by that is that there's a lineup outside No Frills because there's now they only allow a certain number of people to be inside, so you
How
can maintain your 6 feet.
I stocked up like maybe 2 weeks ago. I went to Costco. I stocked up hard.
You should. I mean, you got to remember too, though. You don't want to hoard, but I think you're in a good position now that if you've stocked up already, you don't have to worry about getting into those goddamn lines, right? Like
Yeah.
to pick up the littlest thing, right?
I'm
Uh,
thinking of just hitting up Bulk Barn one more time, just for all the munchies. just for all the good.
What do you think about all the dispensaries now not considered essential services?
Yeah, I don't really buy my weed from. Like, I mean, yeah, like it's interesting. I mean, but they said they're gonna go online, so I don't really go to shops ever. I always purchase weed online.
So is that what they're doing? Is that the dispensaries? Because that's smart. I thought that, I thought that maybe they would at least do takeout, where you can place your order online. You can't do that though; they're shutting down completely. But like, if you know what you want, you or place your order online, and
I
you can
think
pick it up and cook.
to be honest, like it's more convenient regardless to have something. If you can purchase something and just pay $5 and have it mailed to your house, why not? You
Why
know?
not? Yeah.
Well, why the hell would you want to go downtown, go to the pay for not even pay for parking, but just park and then walk, wait, or like it's just a process, you know?
So this is gonna sound like the biggest conspiracy theory type of statement coming from me right now. But if you think about it, and I'm just saying this because at first it just came to my mind, but maybe the government right now wants to take control of that. They know everyone's going to order off OCS if they shut down the dispensaries, right? And then they're going to realize that, oh, I can order my, like you said, I can order my weed and it'll come to my house instead of me going to a dispensary.
Right.
Once this COVID is all, once this clears and everything resumes to this new normal, these dispensaries might even have a hard time attracting new customers then, right?
No, I think
Because there's so many of them, bro. Like there's one opening up right at Young and Bloor, Tokyo Smoke. They're opening like 6 or 7 locations, I think, across Toronto.
Cool. That guy's rich. Holy fuck.
No, I don't know who owns Tokyo Smoke at the top level, but they're franchises, right? You remember that. But having said that, bro, like are there any last messages to your listeners? So where can they? Obviously, music is a big component. I think it's very important for everyone to relax during these times, right?
Yeah.
And for me, and I'm sure for you as well, from you it's different. You like to make music. I like to listen to music.
I listen to music too, man.
What's your biggest, I guess, what's your message for everybody, man, that's listening and looking at you right now? Sorry, watching us right now.
I guess check out my music, you know. Here, Instagram and Twitter at Who Is Killer. And
okay. I'll include the link as well.
Yeah, and yeah, Spotify, Apple Music, you can find me at Killer. You know, any of my tracks are, I got a bunch of tracks, new track coming out.
Right.
This week, I think it's dropping. So yeah, just, you know, I'm just being consistent with it. At the end of the day, you know, the beauty of my game is right now, I'm still like really, really low key. So it's like whatever I drop, I could just keep dropping, you know, and whatever catches. And, you know, until then, I'm just going to keep dropping. Like this shit's just getting better and better, right? You got to keep learning.
Yeah.
And you can't be scared to really jump. That's what I realized, you know?
Right.
It's never going to be perfect. You just got to make sure, try to make it as better. Your next one better and better and better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So essentially, folks, you heard it from him. Like, just try to perfect your craft, whatever that is, right?
Yeah. And to everybody watching that's just kind of chilling out at home, like, kind of figure out what you really want to do. And if you, you know, just want to have fun with it. Like, do whatever you've wanted to do, even as a kid. Like, even if it was
everyone I've been listening to, talking to, Killer, has said the exact word for word. Do what you wanted to do as a kid. And I feel like a lot of people know in the back of their minds that they've lost that. They want to do something, but they never had the chance to do it.
I think the perfect opportunity, even if, you know, you're still working from home. Now you know, you don't have that commute time. Maybe you have that time, right? So it goes
right. But, yeah. You know, this is how you know things are changing. Like I'm in the basement right now doing the podcast. Yeah. Can you hear the washing machine?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my mom just turned the washing machine on, and the dryer is like dun 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 dun. That's what I got to deal with, bro.
Oh, that reminds me, I got to do my laundry right now too.
But yeah, thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate you. Stay safe. I mean, keep in touch every day like you normally do. Yeah. Very important to do a pulse check with your friends. Yeah. Make sure everyone's doing good. And that's that, man.
Enjoy this Corona time, guys. Just enjoy it. All right. Enjoy time with yourselves. Enjoy it. See how it is. And you know, I know a lot of people are probably going crazy living with their families and stuff like that. Just embrace it right now because it's something different, you know?
I mean, it's definitely something different. It's definitely something you can't control. You can't control what's happening out there, but you can control what's happening within the domain of your mind and in your house, right? So take advantage of that. Make something happen. And till then, ciao, man.
Take it easy, bro.
Take care, brother.
All right, see ya.
Yeah, flipping the work, smoking a bogey, playing the dirt. Act like you know me, right on the first, or she gonna blow me. White on the shirt, I'm moving like Tony, bitch. I'm moving like Tony, bringing the iron, posted like Zion. In the jungle, just like a lion, winning these cities, like a Maya. And I ain't ever push a scion. I'm a hustler with a tie on. I'll be dead poor, like I'm Ryan. She on the beach for a tan, taking pics for the gram. Get these likes on demand. I'm in the kitchen cooking grams. Then I go count some bands. Shorty, you know how to plan. You were chasing me in the long run. I ain't trying to be a man. I ain't trying to be a man. Shorty, I'm just a man. I ain't trying to be a man. Shorty, I'm just a man. I ain't trying to be a man, but I'm counting up these bands. I ain't trying to be a man. Love counting up these bands. Smoking on Pluto, whip on Pluto, land on Mars, yeah, just like a Bruno. She want a photo, I'm like, oh no, you a ho-ho, that's a no-no. She do it for a promo, she do it for a promo. Why you do it? Oh, that's your girl, that's my bitch. That's the hoe that I slide with, you know it. Yeah, high with, eat my pie with. On some slime shit, yeah, that's my slime bitch. She on the beach for a tan, taking pics for the gram. Get these likes on demand. I'm in the kitchen cooking grams. Then I go count some bands. Shorty, you know how to plan. You were chasing me in the long run. I ain't trying to be a man. I ain't trying to be a man. Shorty, I'm just a man. I ain't trying to be a man. Shorty, I'm just a man. I ain't trying to be a man, but I'm counting up these bands. I ain't trying to be a man. Love counting up these